that similar programs have been organized. And today I'd like to speak something about the importance of Vaishnava friendships, devotee friendships. But before I speak something about it, I'd like to ensure auspiciousness by chanting a few prayers of Mangalacharan. Most of us know these prayers. You can kindly sing along with me. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनं शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरौ श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरविषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते पिगाकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for kindly being present here today in this wonderful program. And I'd like to begin with a very important verse which defines a lot of our relationships in the world outside. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam, a very important literature in our tradition, and this verse specifies what is the nature of the relationships that we have in the world outside. I will chant the verse. Please repeat after me. Bandhu Gyatyari Madhyastha Mitro Dasina Vidvisha सर्व एव हि सर्वेषां भवन्ति क्रमशो मिथः। So dear devotees, this verse defines what are our relationships in the world outside. The verse says bandhu. Bandhu means sometimes some people become our relatives. Gyati. Sometimes the same people who were relatives start behaving just like acquaintances. Ari. Sometimes the same people who were relatives, they start becoming enemies. Madhyastha. And the same people become neutral, neither favorable nor unfavorable. Mitra, then the same people become friends again. Udasina vidvishaha. And the same people again become envious. Sarva eva hi sarvesham. All sorts of relationships go through all sorts of phases in the world outside. Bhavanti kramasho mitha. This is what happens in all relationships in the world outside. Dear devotees, how many of us have seen some of our important relationships getting degraded over a period of time? Please raise your hands. So this verse speaks to us. And this is the translation of the verse. Prabhuji, kindly read the translation.
In this material world, which advances like a river that carries away the living entity, all people become friends, relatives, and enemies in due course of time. They also act neutrally, they mediate, they despise one another, and they act in many other relationships. Nonetheless, despite these various transactions, no one is permanently related.
Dear devotees, if a question is asked, why do two people who like each other so much suddenly start despising each other after some time? If this question is asked, there has to be a very important answer to this question. And today I will try to give an answer to this question. Why do you think all relationships suffer a breakdown of quality over a period of time? Can anybody give me reasons for that? Yes.
Own priorities make their important.
Yes, Prabhu?
Own priorities, irrespective, that makes more important than the relationship.
Okay, so giving oneself greater priority. Selfishness.
Yeah, fine.
Alright? Yes.
Lack of devotion.
Lack of devotion. Alright? Yes, Nataji.
Unrealistic expectations.
Unrealistic expectations. Wonderful.
Lack of enthusiasm.
Lack of enthusiasm. Wonderful. Yes, Prabhu?
With age, your views also keep changing.
So, change of personality along with time. Wonderful. Yes, Nataji.
Familiarity breeds contempt.
Familiarity breeds contempt. Okay.
Lack of communication.
Lack of communication. Okay.
Mistrust.
Mistrust. That's all. These are very important factors. But dear devotees, do you know what is that one factor which destroys all relationships?
Time.
Just trust.
The one factor which degrades all relationships is union or being with each other constantly. For any relationship to work, you require a combination of two factors. Please repeat the two factors after me. Union and separation. All good relationships are a combination of these two factors. Too much union destroys a relationship. So does too much separation. Let me give an example. Let's say, Prabhu, you and me are good friends, right? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. So today I want to ask you something. I want to come and stay with you, Prabhu, but there is a condition. For the time that I stay with you, you will have to give all your attention to me and to nobody else, and you will have to stay constantly with me. Is that okay? I'll come and stay with you for 3 days.
It's a tough thing to
See, it's already tough for you. Am I such an intolerable person?
It's not you for which
So already for 3 days he is thinking about it. If I say 1 week or 1 month, he'll probably reject the possibility, because Too much of being together is what destroys the relationship. Therefore, every relationship needs a very important factor, that is called separation. And unless there is a good dose of separation in the relationship, meeting each other doesn't attain taste. So dear devotees, every relationship is a good combination of two factors. What are the two factors? Union and separation. Let's remember this. Now, we should not have these types of relationships in our devotee life. With devotees, we should have good relationships. So, how do we have good friendships with devotees? Before we have friendship with a devotee, we should understand that a friendship with a devotee begins when there is one factor present between two individuals. This factor is called priti. Priti means affection. So friendship with another person begins when we have affection towards that particular person. And how do we have affection towards that particular person? There is a very nice verse from a Sanskrit literature named Panchatantra. I will sing this verse, please repeat after me. Nopakaram vina priti katham chit kasya chit bhave. So the verse says, na upakaram vina. Unless one person causes benefit to another person, priti or affection between them usually does not occur. For example, if I have come for the first time here to the temple and I meet Prabhuji for the first time and we exchange greetings, and then suddenly I compliment him on something. I say, well, your glasses are very nice. Upakar. Suddenly I have caused benefit to another person. And then he starts thinking, well, this person seems to be nice. Maybe he can become my friend. So before a friendship can begin in this world, there has to be upakar. One person has to be broad-minded and cause some benefit to the other person. Let us become that person who causes benefit to other people. And therefore, dear devotees, actually friendships are to be found in real life. Friends on social media are not really always friends, dear devotees. Actually, it is a big scam to call 5,000 people as friends. How many of you have 5,000 friends? Please raise your hands. I also think I have 5,000 friends on social media. Are they really friends? The answer is no. Previously, on a phone book, you would call them contacts. But somebody decided to really fool people by changing the name from contacts and calling them what? Friends. Actually, they are not friends. They should be called contacts. There is a very nice cartoon which came out in a particular newspaper. It says he had over 2,000 Facebook friends, but after dying, I was expecting a bigger turnout. So this proves that actually those whom we call friends on social media may not actually be friends. Who are friends? Dear devotees, friends are people in association of whom we experience affection. Those are whom we call friends. There is a Sanskrit term for affection. Please repeat after me. Sneha. So sneha is affection. And how do we know that a particular person is truly worthy of becoming our friend? When we are able to feel affection for that person. There is a very nice Sanskrit verse. This verse is as follows. Please repeat after me. Darshane Sparshane Vapi Shravane Bhashane Piva Yatra Dravatyantarangam Sasneha iti kathyate. Darshane, when you see a particular person. Sparshane, when you shake hands with them, you come in contact with them. Shravane, when you hear their voice. Bhashane, and when you converse with them. Yatra dravati antaranga, if the heart starts melting out of joy, little bit. Sasneha, that is called as affection. That is the person in whom we are truly interested, dear devotees. That person is dear to us. Others are contacts. But a person, on seeing whom, on interacting with that person, if our heart starts to feel a little joy and starts melting in joy, then we are experiencing what is called sneha. This is the translation. Prabhu, can you kindly read?
When the heart melts joyously on seeing, touching, hearing, or conversing with an individual, one is said to be experiencing sneha, affection.
Dear devotees, if we count the number of Facebook friends, there may be 5,000. That is the limit which has been set. Out of these 5,000, how many of them can actually make our heart melt? Huh? On fingertips, we can count. How many of us have 5 people in our lives who fit this criteria? Alright. How many of us have 4? Alright. How many of us have at least one person in our life who fits this criteria? Yes. If we have at least one person, then we're still okay. In less than one person, there's something wrong with us. At least let us have one person in our life who fits this criteria. And dear devotees, it's very important that when we are in the association of such a person, time should become relative. We should not experience that, oh my goodness, I have to stay 1 more hour with this person. So very nice verse determines how true affection causes time to shrink. And separation from such a person causes time to expand. Please repeat after me. Priti satyam tayoreva yayor yoga viyogayo vatsara vasariyanti vatsariyanti vasara. So true priti or true affection exists between 2 individuals when both of them feel in each other's association that years have reduced to days, and in separation days have turned into years. If we have at least 3 or 4 or 5 people in our lives with whom we feel like this, those are the people who are truly our friends. Those are the people for whom life is worth living, dear devotees. Therefore, a very important teacher of our tradition, a very important acharya of our tradition, Sri Rupa Goswami, he says, don't try to make friends with everybody. Because nowadays, because we are living in an age where people think we can become friends with anybody, But actually we become friends with like-minded people. And therefore Rupa Goswami says that one should take shelter in like-minded people. Sri Rupa Goswami says, Sva-yuthan eva samshrayat. Take shelter only in one's like-minded groups. Once you find a person who's like-minded, that person is the person with whom we are supposed to become good friends. You need not change your personality drastically in order to become friends with somebody. Because often people think that in order to become friends with other people, I have to change myself drastically. We should be as we are, and we should try to find like-minded people in order to make friends with them. Now, it is important that before we accept a friend, even in devotee circles, we should take our sweet time. Because not everybody can become a friend so easily. And people may become friends easily, but that friendship may not last for a long time. There is a very nice pastime, a very nice incident in the Mahabharata. The Mahabharata narrates an incident about two people who became friends very quickly. And these two people are named Drupad and Drona. Drupad came from the family of a king. He was the son of a king. And Drona was the son of a poor teacher, a poor Brahmana. But both of them met in school and both of them became very close friends. And Drona and Drupada promised something to each other. Drona said that I will always be grateful to you for your friendship. And Drupada, the son of the king, said, when I grow up and become the king, I will give you half of my palace to stay, half of my kingdom to stay. Without thinking, he made this promise. So gradually, after they grew up and graduated from their schools, after a few years, Drona, the Brahmana, remembered that I have a friend named Drupad who is a very wealthy king. Now he has become the king. Now let me go and ask him for a little bit of wealth that he had promised. So Drona went and asked for a little bit of wealth. And Drupad immediately insulted Drona at that particular point of time, because he had long forgotten this promise that he had made to Drona. He said, I don't remember any such promise. Anyways, you beggars, what do you so many beggars come and ask me for money. You are one of them. Friendship is between equals. At that point of time, Drona felt extremely insulted. What did Drona do? Drona went back to his kingdom and he trained 5 young boys, the sons of Pandu, in military warfare. And after training 5 of them, he asked them to attack his old friend Drupad and capture him. And they captured him and they brought him in front of Drona. And Drona said, now you remember your promise? And then Drupad faked humility in front of him, said, yes, you are very noble, sorry, I forgot my promise, I will give you half of my kingdom, so I am very sorry. But in his mind, he had already plotted revenge. Later, this Drupad, because he got so hurt, he was snatched off half his kingdom. Later, this Drupad caused Dronacharya to be killed in another war. This is how the friendship began and this is how the friendship ended, dear devotees. We should take our sweet time before accepting somebody as a friend. Because if we accept a friend very hastily, later we may have to regret. Why do we take this time? We take this time so that we can determine whether the friend is like-minded. The previous slide I had shown, Rupa Goswami's instruction was to make friends with like-minded people. People who are not like-minded, we cannot sustain our friendship with them for a long duration of time. Therefore, it's very important to have similar likes similar dislikes, similar tastes in order to become a friend. Many times it is said opposites attract, but opposites also repel equally fast, the devotees. Therefore, it's important to have friends who have similar tastes like us. Once we have found such friendship, once we have found such a friend, we should no longer behave in a formal manner with them. Formality is only before a friendship begins, not after a friendship begins. There's a very nice verse, I will sing it, please repeat after me. Upacharah kartavyo, Upacharah kartavyo, Yavad anutpanna saurda purusha, Yavad anutpanna saurda purusha, Utpanna sauhridanam, Utpanna sauhridanam, Upacharah kaitavam bhavati, Upacharah kaitavam bhavati. Upacharah kartavyo. One should have formality only yavad anutpanna saurudha, as long as affection has not developed. Once affection has developed, if we continue to be formal with each other, then it is nothing but kaitavam, nothing but pretense. For example, if I am meeting Prabhuji for the first time, and then I say, Prabhuji, it is raining outside. I don't have a jacket with me. Can I please borrow your jacket for some time? Formality, dear devotees. Like after a few weeks we become friends, and we are holding, I am putting my hands on his shoulder, and then suddenly I say, Prabhuji, it's raining outside. Can I take your jacket? So he'll say, why are you asking me? We are friends. Don't ask me in such a formal way. You should instead say, give me your jacket. That is friendship. Friendship means there is some feeling of belongingness. And upachar or formality is the opposite of that, dear devotees. So therefore, formalities should be maintained only before a particular friendship begins, not after a particular friendship has begun. And therefore, it is very difficult to find such friends with whom we have become informal. According to scriptures, we should have, we can have a maximum of 5 such people in our lives. How many such people in our lives? 5. If you manage to find 5 such people, you are truly blessed. If not 5, at least 4. If not 4, at least 3, or at least 2, or at least else something is truly wrong with us. So the number of close ones is specified as follows. Please repeat after me. Panchabhi sahastatavyam gantavyam panchabhi sah panchabhi sah vaktavyam na dukham panchabhi sah. So panchabhi sah sthatavyam. If you want to stay at one place, stay with 5 friends, panchabhi. Even with 5 friends, sometimes you may have some disagreement with one friend. You have at least 4 more to speak to. Gantavyaha panchabhi sah. If you travel somewhere, travel with 5 friends. Panchabhi sah vaktavyam. And if you want to sit and discuss something, discuss with how many friends? 5 friends. Na dukkham. There is no unhappiness. Panchabhi sah. If at least 5 friends are present in life, dear devotees. One should stay with 5 friends, travel with 5 friends and converse with 5 friends, thereby avoiding all distress. And the best friends are not located far away in another continent of the world. The best friends are those who are located usually at a distance of 2 or 3 minutes, 10 minutes from where we stay. If we have friends who stay very close to us, how many of us are blessed with friends who stay very close to us? Yes, few of us are blessed. I stay in Mumbai, and near where I stay, I have 2 friends who are very close to me. Very close to me. In front of them, I am not the person who I am in front of the camera. See, there are 2 cameras recording me, alright? So I am a different person when the cameras are switched off. And I am a different person when the cameras are switched on. But when the cameras are switched off, and when I am with those 2 people, I am a different person. Why? Because no upachara, no formalities. And I know that I can count on those particular friends, I can call them whenever I want to. So those are the types of friendships that we most need in our life. The best example of such friends or such company is the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. Every Goswami had how many close associates? 5. The ideal number was achieved, dear devotees, in the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. And every Goswami was staying with 5, was travelling with 5, was conversing with 5. Panchabihi sah statavyam gantavyam panchabihi sah vaktavyam. They fulfilled this verse perfectly. Once we have made such friends, then our Acharya, our teacher, Sri Rupa Goswami says we should have 6 exchanges with such friends. What are the 6 exchanges of love or affection that we should have? These are the 6 exchanges mentioned by Rupa Goswami. Please repeat after me. Dadati pratigrihnati guhyam akhyati pritchati bhumte bhojayate chaiva shadvidham priti lakshanam. Priti is affection. Dear devotees, priti lakshanam. Once you have affection with some person and the limit has been set 5. If you find 5 of such people, your life is successful. But what are the characteristics of priti? Priti is feminine gender. This term priti is feminine in gender. So, dadati, she gives, pratigrinati, and she receives. Alright? Affection causes you to give, affection causes you to receive. Many of us are very graceful in giving gifts, but we do not know how to gracefully receive gifts. It's very important to learn also how to receive, because many of us are good at giving, but we do not know how to gratefully receive. In Sanskrit, there is a term called as Uttamarna and Adhamarna. In the act of giving, the person who gives, his hand is above, and the person who receives, his hand is below. So the person who gives is already a superior in one way. And for them it is easy to give because they are in a superior position. But in an inferior position is the person who is receiving. Many people do not know how to receive gracefully. How do we receive a particular gift gracefully? Dear devotees, by looking in the eye of the person who is giving the gift. And we should know how to smile with our eyes. How many of us know how to smile with our eyes? Alright? With a little bit of smile in the eyes, affection in the eyes. There is a smile of the eyes and there is a smile of the mouth. A little bit of smile in the eyes, and then looking in the eyes, receiving the gift with hands below, and then saying, I am very grateful, thank you so much, Prabhu. Right? Graceful receiving is very important in the community of Vaishnavas. Otherwise, Prabhuji gives me and says, yeah, keep it in my bag. Many of us do not know how to receive gracefully. Giving, we all have our big ego, yeah, I will give you. But how many of us know how to receive properly? Dear devotees, when we walk on the street, now here in the streets in the United States, we don't see so much in this part. Maybe in some other parts of the United States, we may see some beggars on the street, or you may see on the traffic signals. And it's important from time to time to give something to them. I often give some fruits or something to them because I want to see something. What do I want to see? I want to see how they receive it. Often in India, when I am back at my home, I often give something to a person who is begging on the street. And often they have that expression of gratitude. The devotee is not easy to beg. It is not easy to beg. We often think that those people who become beggars are people who have nothing else to do in life. But they have sacrificed their big ego and to, spread out their hands in front of others. How many of us, even for 15 minutes in a week, can perform the same exercise, standing on the signal and, holding out our arms in front of complete strangers who may give, sometimes many words of unkindness? How many of us can, beg in front of others? They are perpetually in the position of receiving, and therefore they must be grateful. There is one thing to learn from a beggar. How to receive with gratitude. The beggar also teaches us something. It's not that the beggar doesn't give us anything. The beggar teaches us how to receive with gratitude. And we should always receive very gracefully. Third is Guhyam Akhyati. When two friends meet, so Prabhuji, you and me are friends, we both meet. Guhyam Akhyati. We should have some confidential speaking and some confidential inquiries. Things that we cannot have in a public discourse. For example, I may come to you and I may say, Prabhuji, I want to speak something to you, but I am a little embarrassed. Can I say to you, yes, please keep it confidential? See, I have been a devotee for many years, but I could not tell this to anyone else. Long before I became a devotee, I had the habit of smoking cigarettes. Yesterday, when I was passing through the superstore, I again saw an advertisement for cigarettes, and my heart again became a little weak. Can I confide something in you, Prabhu? Sometimes I like to smoke, but don't tell anybody. Now, he goes and tells another person immediately, right? So I'm just describing a hypothetical situation. I have never smoked in my life. Just to clarify, I have never smoked in my life. So, let's say he goes and he decides to speak it to others. You know what? Parshad Das told me. Breaking news. So, there is a very important sutra which has been told, Shat Karnat Vidyate Mantraha. Any secret no longer remains a secret as soon as it reaches 6 years. I hope you are able to understand. Initially the secret was between my 2 years. Then I confided in him. Now it is between how many years? 4 years. As soon as a secret reaches 6 years, it is already broken, dear devotees. Shat Karnat Vidyate Mantra. A secret is immediately broken as soon as it reaches 6 years. So we should ensure that our secrets do not reach 6 years. It should remain between 4 years, and if we don't trust a person, it should remain only between how many years? 2 years. Yes. Because if it is between 2 years, then even Lord Brahma will not be able to know. But if it reaches 6 years, then there is a big problem. And then day after tomorrow I am coming to the temple and suddenly Prabhuji is giving class. He is sitting here. And then Prabhuji says, so dear devotees, It is very wrong to smoke cigarettes. Intoxication is one of the worst things that one can do for one's spiritual life. You understand? Haripasha Prabhu? So dear devotees, all of us have some vulnerability, some vulnerable side, which we want to show only to a friend. Although we behave very polished in public, like there is no defect in me, and that is how we like to behave in public, but it's a fact that all of us have some vulnerability which we would rather become very embarrassed, terribly embarrassed, if it were to be spoken in public. There was a philosopher in the Western world, his name was Erasmus. He wrote a book called In Praise of Folly. And in this book he described how all of us are basically jokers of one of the other type. All of us are clowns, little clowns, in our personal lives. But we don't reveal it to others. So, it's important to understand that such interaction should only be with friends who know how to keep secrets. Guhyam akhyati prichhati. Speaking confidentially. And let's say somebody comes and speaks their heart to us confidentially. What we should do is we should know how to take a particular secret to our grave. Which means we should never reveal that secret. What people do sometimes is a friend reveals a secret to them and people end up speaking that secret to their own spouse. You know what he told me? So then the mantra has reached, the confidential secret has reached how many years?
6 years.
6 years. Already it has reached 6 years. So when a friend confides in us, not even our spouse should know, dear devotees, what is the secret that they have confided in us. And then we can inquire confidentially from them. Are you feeling better now? Is there something that I can do for you? And bhunkte bhojayate chaiva. There is no friendship unless there is eating and feeding. So somebody else feeds. So I will say, Prabhu, today I am in a good mood. I'll take you to Govinda's. Where is the nearest Govinda's, Prabhuji? LA. Alright, let's go to LA. Alright, it's on me today. Okay. And then 2 weeks later he says, I am in a good mood, today I'll feed you. And I say, no, not only eating, not only feeding but also eating. Both are required. So these are 6 exchanges which we should have with all of our good friends, dear devotees. Now this is what we should do with a close friend. Now there are some things which we should not do with a close friend. And there are 3 important things that we should know, because we have maximum, how many good friends are we going to find in life? 5. It's important to preserve those 5 friends and not to do certain things with those 5 friends. And what are the 3 things that one should not do with a close friend? This is very clearly mentioned by the previous great souls. Please repeat after me. Ichet ched vipulam maitrim Trini tatra na karayet Vagvadam artha sambandham Tatpatni paribhashanam. Ichet ched, if you desire, vipulam maitrim, long lasting friendship. Trini, 3 things. Na karayat, don't do. What is the first? Vagvadam. Don't try to argue with your friend in public. Don't try to debate with your friend in public and don't try to defeat them in any particular debate in public. Don't try to have an argument in public with them. If at all you have an argument, you should have an argument in private, not in public. Second, artha sambandham. Don't get into a major financial contract with your friend at any point of time. Small dealings of money are okay. Today I gave you $10, tomorrow you gave me $25. That's okay. But major financial dealings with friends should always be avoided. Always be avoided. Because money immediately formalizes a relationship, dear devotees. Any informal relationship is immediately formalized by introduction of one particular thing. And what is that? Money. And third is Tat Patni Paribhashanam. Don't flirt with their spouse especially when they are not present, even if they are present. Don't secretly speak to their spouse in a flirtatious manner, because that is something which will immediately destroy the relationship. These three things, if we manage to avoid, then our friendships will be very long lasting. So can you kindly read the translation?
If you desire abundant, long lasting friendships, then do not perform the following three acts. Trying to win an argument against the friend, especially in public. Entering into any sort of financial contracts, business deals with the friend, and flirting with their spouse.
Right. So many good friendships have been spoiled by one or more of these. The friendship between Drupad and Dronacharya. Because Drupad promised something financial to his friend and a big financial gift to his friend, that relationship got spoiled. And not only that, when Dronacharya came asking for it, Drupad publicly argued with him and humiliated him. So that is the second factor which spoiled the relationship between Drupad and Drona. So dear devotees, let us always have the qualities of a good friend, and these are the 6 qualities of a good friend. I will conclude on this particular verse, then we will have some question and answers. I will sing this verse which describes the 6 qualities of an ideal friend. Please repeat after me. Papan nivarayati yojayate hitaya. Goyam chaguhati gunan prakati karoti. Apadgatam na cha jahati dadati kale. Sammitra lakshanamidam pravadanti santah. First characteristic of a good friend, papat nivarayati. A good friend rescues his or her friend from any incorrect path in life. If you find your friend walking on an incorrect path in life, the first and foremost duty of a friend is to rescue that friend, even at the cost of speaking some harsh truth. Papan nivarayati. Don't drag your friend on an incorrect path in life, dear devotees. If they are walking on an incorrect path, let's say a friend comes to you and says, you know what, I found this new financial fraud which can help you earn millions of dollars over a year. And you say, wow, why don't you teach me also? Let's both of us do it. 2 big mistakes. First, encouraging a friend on an incorrect path. Second, entering into a financial agreement with the friend. So you already put an expiry date on your friendship by encouraging your friend in this manner. Papan nivarayati. A good friend, first and foremost, will rescue the other friend from an incorrect path in life. Second, yojayate hitaya. Always engage your friend on an auspicious path in life. Third, guhyam cha guhati. If there is some secret of the friend, always keep it a secret. And gunan prakati karoti. Always glorify your friend in public. You may critique the friend in private, but in public you should always glorify the friend. For example, like I may say, you know, Prabhuji, I really love one thing about you. And what is that? I really love the attention to details that you have, especially when studying scriptures. So, public glorification of a friend is very important. The friend feels reassured, this person will have my back in public. And that strengthens the friendship. Apad gatam nacha jahati. If the friend falls into an emergency situation, never give up your support. Dadati kale. And when the friend needs something, what is most needed at the opportune moment, at that time you should give. These are the 6 characteristics. Sanmitra lakshanamidam. Prabadanti santa. These are the 6 characteristics as spoken by the previous great authorities. Please read.
Saintly souls say that a true friend performs the following acts: rescuing the friend from an incorrect path, engaging the friend on a beneficial path, protecting secrets and taking them to the grave, expressing good qualities of the friend in front of others, not abandoning the friend in times of distress, and giving what is needed by the friend at the correct time.
Yes. Dear devotees, I hope all of you are able to imbibe all these qualities, and I hope you also find friends who imbibe all these qualities. Alright? Thank you very much, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. I am very honored, Tukaram Prabhu, you are kindly present here. Tukaram Prabhu is, he's one of the most important people who is taking care of the community here in Laguna Beach, dear devotees. He's very close to me, and whenever I've had discussions with Tukaram Prabhu, he has made sure that he challenges my intellect to the final limit, because his arguments are not easy to tackle. Somehow I manage to escape every time. But I don't know, he has raised his hand this time, so I am already a little anxious. Tukaram Prabhu, please say what you want to say, Prabhu.
Prabhu, we're really honored that you're here. Thank you very much for coming again this year. We look forward to you coming. Our whole community does, including myself. You gave a brilliant class as normal. You presented many beautiful verses I've never seen before, as you're normally, this is a regular program to do. Thank you very, very much. I do have some questions.
Yes. Now this is the difficult part. This is where I get into trouble. Yes, Prabhu.
I can also say that you practice what you preach, this Unam Prakati Karoti, you glorify me publicly, and so I can see that you are very sincere and you always do what you recommend others to do. It's one of the great qualities that you live according to the way you preach. Thank you for that. Thank you for your life and devotion. We very much appreciate it. I have, the question will probably sound challenging, but that is just my nature, like that. With this Gunam Prakati Karoti, it's clear that it's saying you make public their good qualities. It's there, you see it. It's very straightforwardly said in the Sanskrit itself. This idea that you should not engage in Vad, you should not engage in an out loud conversation. I was unable to see how that meant you should not argue with them in public. Your translation of Vadam, that you should not engage in this. I could not see anything in Sanskrit that indicated that that was specifically for in public. It would seem like you're not supposed to argue with them out loud at all, whether you're in private or public, and I would like you to help me to better understand that. Also, for that matter, as long as this is like a same type of question, you're forbidden from this artha sambandha, having a relationship based on money. And you gave a nuanced understanding of that. Small things could be there, but not something big. That also, I don't see that either in the it says you should not have a relationship at all based on artha. And so, a straightforward reading of that verse, I wasn't sure where it came from, but a straightforward reading of it would appear to be more absolute than the nuanced definition that you offer.
Correct.
But I generally think that you see more in the verses than I do because you're such an accomplished Sanskritist. And so I'd like you to like. And I have one more question, and I'll say that back.
All right. So, you were asking about, first and foremost, you said about Vagvadam, that trying to win an argument against a friend, and then I added a comma there, especially in public. So, this is born from my personal experience that I have also suffered from bad relationships because I tried to win arguments in the past with my good friends, and when they happened in private, nobody's ego is bruised so much. But when they take place in public, people's egos get bruised to a greater degree, and then they are not able to recover from that particular position. Let's say I argued with a friend in private and maybe I managed to defeat him in the argument privately. He may get back to me privately. He may have won over me privately. And then he may say, everything is settled. But publicly, if I humiliate somebody, then that friend will never be able to get back and become even with me again.
If I could just,
Yeah.
now that you've explained this, I see this as a good quality. When a pundit has some feeling for the verse and he puts his own personal experience into his translation work, I do not see this as a fault.
Yeah.
In fact, as you taught me how to read tikas, you pointed out that most of the tika is just a glossary of synonyms for the words in the verse to then allow the person to interpret in a variety of ways. And so it seems like you were doing something similar, and I'm assuming the artha sambandham is the same.
Yes.
Okay.
Because many times those who translate from one language to another, usually they like to translate the verse as literally as possible. But I don't like to translate, I like to transcreate the verse in a language that people will find relevant in their lives. So verses don't need translation, verses need transcreation. They need to be brought to the level of experience and reality. Otherwise, if I just give the translation, a lot will remain unanswered. So actually speaking, verses need transcreation. They need to be transcreated in another language so that the original experience and mood of the author who composed the verse hundreds or thousands of years ago can be successfully transported to an audience which is completely disconnected from the original author.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Yes.
Thank
So
you. Thank you very much. My last question
Yes.
is a little bit more.
But I have not answered Artha Sambandham.
Please.
Yes. Between friends there is something called as dan. You may give some amount, even if the friend doesn't return back, it's okay. So dan is, you may give somebody may ask, I may ask him, can I take $25 from you? It's dan. Alright, I will return you. Let's say tomorrow I forget. He said, that's okay. He's a forgetful friend, no problem. So dan is okay, but Artha Sambandha means official contract. We'll do some business together, I'll give you 25%, I will keep 75%. Later I don't even give him, what are you doing? You're doing not even worth 25%. Alright? So, this is where the relationship is spoiled. An official contract is what spoils the friendship. The formality is what destroys the relationship. So that is what it
And
is.
you're saying the term sambandha specifically means an official contract?
Obviously, yes. The Sambandha specifically means an official contract.
Something which binds you?
Something which binds you. Artha Sambandha, yes. Yes.
No. I have more questions.
Okay. I thought I could escape, but we are yes, good.
So then my last question is about Guhyam Akyati Prichiti. You said that this Guhyam Akyati, to speak some secret thing, you gave the example of someone who, let's say, had a previous habit of smoking, who felt some pains in their heart or some addictive remembrances, and they want to share that with a friend for therapeutic purposes, and that is Guhyam Akhyati. I don't understand the verse like that. Because when I look at the verse is about giving and receiving charity, and it's about giving and receiving prasad, and then it's about sharing deep realizations, and also inquiring, when appropriate, about the deep realizations of others. I believe that you mistranscreated the verse in a way that perhaps was more applicable to a modern person, but that goes away from what was most probably intended by Rupa Goswami when he constructed the verse. I'm happy to be corrected, but I think you understand where I'm going, so I'd like you to take over and enlighten me.
The original verse is not by Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami did not compose this verse. The original verse is from Panchatantra. It is from a Niti Shastra. Rupa Goswami has taken the verse as it is and pasted in Upadeshamritam. It is the Vaishnava commentators who later gave the interpretation Guhyam Akhyati Prichhati means sharing and inquiring about deep confidential spiritual realizations. But originally in the Panchatantra, where the verse actually belongs to, Guhyam Akhyati Prichhati means sharing secrets and inquiring about confidential things. So that is actually the original and literal interpretation of the verse as it is found in the Panchatantra. But if I would be speaking to a class which is mainly related to devotees, then I would give that interpretation that Rupa Goswami intended to give it in the Upadeshamritam. But because the original verse belongs to Panchatantra, therefore I did not give credit to the verse here for Rupa Goswami. The verse is originally from Panchatantra. And Panchatantra is a Niti Shastra. Niti Shastra means it is general wisdom. So the common denominator in all relationships, Guhyam Akhyati Prichhati, is sharing vulnerabilities that you don't share usually with others. Because two friends may not have really deep spiritual realizations. Two friends both of them may be very shallow people philosophically. But both of them may have some secrets that they want to share with each other. Since the topic of today is friendship, therefore the interpretation is accordingly done. So I hope that clarifies.
Thank you. I'm very grateful. It's a great answer.
Yes.
I didn't know it was from Panchatantra, and so it's nice to find that out. And now I understand your mood when you were translating it. I'm going to ask another question.
Sure.
Around this. I'd like you to give me a little bit more.
Yeah.
Your interpretation of Panchatantra being a negative thing, it still goes away from a straightforward reading of the verse, even from the literal words in Sanskrit. The words in Sanskrit are about positive exchange. They were written a long time ago when people were quite pious. And it would always be understood that you would be sharing some wise words and some wisdom, and especially inquiring about things. And so that inquiry about the wisdom of another, that sharing of your wisdom, would seem to be, even within the Panchatantra context, a more appropriate translation of the verse. And it appears that you kind of departed from that by taking it in a negative verse, which went against the basic construct, even of the verse in the Panchatantra. What to speak of in Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamritam.
What then the meaning of the specific term mentioned there is Guhyam. Guhyam means that which is protected from all others, which means that it is not revealed in public. That is what is the meaning of Guhyam. A synonym for Guhyam is Mantram. Mantra is that which is protected from the public, it is not revealed. In today's context, what do people keep Guhya? What do people keep secret? What do people hide from others? The most likely thing that people hide from others, that people keep secrets from others, are vulnerabilities. This is something which people can easily understand. Therefore, for this particular point, I gave a practical application of what is Guhyam.
Just like Bhagavatam, just like
Yes.
I understand.
But
you agree with me on the Panchatantra?
yeah. Guhyam can also mean the password to my account. That is also Guhyam. But if I give that specific interpretation, but Guhyam is, I want people to relate to the verse. So I would say Guhyam means vulnerability, because that is something which all of us have and which we are confident in revealing only in front of a person in whom we have such high degree of confidence.
Sadhu, thank you.
So that
One
is
last question for you.
okay.
You mentioned, and this one is smaller, but I also like to hear it. You mentioned 6 years, here's something that is no longer secret. And I've heard this just commonly, but I did not know the shlok that it came from. And I'm assuming it's from some Artha Shastra, Niti Shastra.
Chanakya Niti.
Yeah. I even tried to look it up, but I couldn't, I couldn't look it up. I couldn't follow when you were reciting Sanskrit. Why would it be that the first 2 years were in between your ears? I would assume it would meant that it kept in your heart, but once it reaches 6 years, this interpretation that in between your ears counts as 2 years seemed to me to be strange. I thought it meant if you tell 3 people, 6 years, it reaches 6 years, but I would assume that it's in your heart, it's not between 2 ears. Number one, his thoughts are in the heart, they're not in between the ears. That's a Western construct. But number two, was there something in the verse that indicated that 2 of the ears were taken up by you? It would seem to me to be a more natural translation would be once it reaches 3 individuals as opposed to 2 additional people.
Yeah, because there is another verse which I remember I had translated, that Shat Karnat Vidyate mantra, between 6 years it is destroyed, the secret is destroyed, and Chatu Karnat between 4 years it still remains a secret, and Dvi Karnat between 2 years Brahmapi na janati, even Brahma will not come to know. So that is there is a verse like that. Therefore, when it says 2 years, it means it remains in this area, within your mind. The secret remains within your mind.
You put these 2 verses together.
Obviously.
And you interpreted the one in relation.
Yeah. No, that is the interpretation. That is how it has been interpreted for centuries. That's how my teacher also taught me in childhood. Shat Karnat Vidyate mantra. Within 6 years, mantra is destroyed. When the Guru speaks the mantra to the disciple, the Guru originally has mantra between his 2 years. Then the Guru gives confidentially. Now it is between 4 years. And then Ramanujacharya made sure it is between hundreds of years. The Guru became angry, the mantra is destroyed. So, for 6 years it is destroyed. So, I hope that satisfies. Yes.
Thank you so much for that. Can your parents and your family, your siblings, be in that 5?
Can our siblings and our parents be in the 5? With parents we share a different type of a relationship, because parents are often in the position of correcting us when we make certain mistakes in our life. At least traditionally that is the role of parents. I don't know how modern philosophy interprets parenthood, but at least traditionally parents are supposed to correct their children when children make certain mistakes in their lives. And parents can do so with authority. So the word of a parent is like the word of a master. Don't do this. But the word of a friend is not the word of a master. Don't do this. There's a big difference between don't do this and don't do this. I hope you're able to understand. So that latter is the voice of a friend. The former is the voice of a master, which may often come from a parent. So with parents it is difficult to have all the informalities of a friendly relationship, so much so that even God himself, Shri Krishna, keeps his parental relationship separate and his friendly relationship separate. Even Bhagwan or God likes to keep both of them in separate compartments. He has allocated separate compartments for those 2 relationships. The siblings, brothers, if there is extreme confidence in the relationship, then friendship may be there. But then the confidence should be such that secret should be hidden even from parents. That level of confidence is there. Then you can say that the highest degree of friendship has been achieved even between siblings. Alright, so I hope that clarifies. Yes.
And then one more. If you break trust, like you said, the relationship's destroyed. One, can you repair them? And then two, if someone goes and tells your secret and you break the confidentiality, should you no longer be friends with that person?
So these are two questions. First is, if you break a secret, can it be repaired?
Yeah, and then the second one is like if the relationship is destroyed for whatever reason, can that be repaired?
So if we end up breaking a particular secret, so we have acted as a terrible person. And we should know that we do not know the ways of friendship. And that we should have been better informed as to how to treat a friend. And there is a very nice story in regards to this. I'll share a small story. There is a lady who goes to a pastor, a preacher, and she says that, "Father, please forgive me for I have sinned." The father asks, "What sin have you committed?" She said, "I spread a rumor against somebody." The father said, "All right, you know what? I don't know what this is, sixpences, and you're forgiven. There's something they say." And then she said, "You're forgiven, but you have to do something." He said, "What do I have to do?" He said, "Come tomorrow and bring the biggest pillow that you have in your bedroom with you." Next day she comes with a big pillow, and then he says, "Go on the top of the roof of the church and use a knife and tear open the pillow." She tears open the pillow, and then the feathers are all in the wind. She comes down and says, "Father, I've done what you said." And father tells her, "Now bring back all the feathers and put them back in the pillow." So, that I cannot do. So that is what you have done. So it is sometimes irreparable. It's very irreparable. Therefore, it is important that we should seek genuine forgiveness from the person whom we have wronged at by doing such a thing. And we should give them constant reassurances that please do not feel that, I will never repeat this thing. Please once again try to put your trust in me. And then it is up to them whether they will put that trust or not. They may begin by putting some little trust in us, and then we should live up to that trust, and then maybe they will regain that trust. So that is the answer to your first query. The second was, if somebody else has broken, how to repair it?
If you told somebody something in secret and they broke your trust,
You have the freedom to not trust the person again. It depends on how the other person reacts. Right? Okay. Yes.
In the beginning, you said that we should have friendship with the same-minded or equal-minded people. My point is, I have a couple of friends for the last 50 years, and there we discussed some different topics, views, and there is a lot of disagreements. Their views are different, my views are different, but at the end of the day, we are still good friends. So we respect each friend's identity as they are. Their views may not be similar to mine. We are not similar, same-minded people, but we have very good friendship. So how come we say that it has to be always same-minded people, we should have friendship? We should respect other person is always going to be different than you are. Respect them, accept it as it is, and you still can have a good friendship.
Wonderful. So you have friends from the last 50 years with whom you have many differences of opinion,
Yes.
but you are still friends with them.
Yes.
There is a good reason why you are still friends with them, because you know where to draw the boundary of argumentation. You have known where to draw the boundary of argumentation and not go beyond a certain point. Because we know the limits to which we can argue with each other. Therefore, the friendships have stayed for so many decades. But is that the pinnacle of what a friendly relationship is? To have friendship with people who have diverse views. This is the modern philosophy that is propagated in the world today. Friendship is even enhanced to a greater degree when the friend is able to read what is there on your mind without you saying it. The friend is so like-minded that the friend knows at this point of time he is feeling hungry and he probably wants to eat nicely. And I know what he wants to eat. He likes, Italian pasta, white sauce. That's the friendship which we are actually looking for. So this is also friendship. I don't deny that this is not friendship. But this friendship has to be carefully maintained by drawing borders from time to time. And that is how it has sustained over so many years. But affectionate, sneha based friendship is something which happens between individuals who are very like-minded. Therefore, the number of such people that you can find in life is also determined. How many did I say? Maximum 5. But with the friends that you are saying, I can have 50 such friends.
No, I don't agree with that. We still have a lot of affection in each other.
Yeah, I understand there is affection in a general sense, but heart-melting affection, because the friend knows exactly what is on your mind and the friend aligns with your views on many of the topics, not every topic but many of the topics. That is a very different experience. That is what I would like to say at this point of time. But I respect what you are saying. We can be friends with people who have some differences of opinion also. Thank you very much. Yes.